Welcome to the Pioneer Roundtable. I'm Jake. I'm joined by Luke and Aaron. Today we're going to be talking about the NCAA, specifically March Madness, as well as talking about how the SEC tournament wrapped up. We're talking about the NFL free agency and the NFL draft, and who we think the Titans should pick and who their favorite team has signed, and then we'll move on to the NBA towards the end and talk about some things involving that. So first off, we're going to start with March Madness. Well, actually, since the SEC tournament ended before March Madness, did you guys watch that? And if so, what were your thoughts on that?
You go first.
I did watch the SEC tournament, at least like the semifinals and the finals, and I thought that Tennessee and Auburn game was absolutely fantastic. And Tennessee and Florida, both of them have a shot at winning it all this year. I wouldn't be surprised if either one of them wins it all. I think this year's really been a strong showing for the SEC overall in the tournament.
I would agree. The SEC has 7 teams in the Sweet 16 this year. I don't know if you guys had known that, as well as Tennessee making their third straight Sweet 16 appearance with Rick Barnes. First time in program history they've done that. Aaron, your thoughts on the SEC tournament at all?
It was crazy. Like the matchup against Auburn versus Tennessee is freaking, dude, that game was. I'm honestly kind of glad we lost that game because I feel like we got a better seeding within the tournament. And I feel like we just have a better route than what Auburn has on the way to possibly championship. So.
Yeah, and March Madness kicked off last week. Tennessee has played their first 2 games. They played their third game on Friday against Kentucky. Did you guys watch those first 2 games?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Tennessee had a great showing against Wofford, and then UCLA. It was close until about the 2-minute mark of the first half, and Tennessee really pulled away. But not just the Vols in this tournament. The whole state of Tennessee was represented great. More teams than they've ever had before in the men's tournament. They had Lipscomb, Memphis, Tennessee, Vanderbilt, and the crazy thing is only Tennessee made it out of the round of 64.
Wow. Luke, what are your thoughts on, or not Luke, sorry, Aaron, what are your thoughts on the Vols' run in the NCAA tournament so far?
Man, again, just going off what I said, I think they just have a great route up to the championship. Like against Wofford, like Chazanier dropping 29 points. I mean, it's a great time for him to start getting hot. Our offense is beautiful. Our defense is even better. And even against UCLA, he dropped 20 again. And as Luke said, like it was close all the way to like the last 2 minutes of the first half. And then Tennessee really started pulling away. Man, they hit so many threes. That's where every 3 they shot, it would go in. And I feel like Tennessee's starting to get hot right at the perfect time. Sakai Ziegler playing amazing defense. He didn't allow any turnovers in the Wofford game. He broke the assist record. Chazanier broke the 3-point record for the Tennessee program. Man, I just think it's a perfect time for Tennessee to start getting hot. I love the route that we got going up into a championship.
You know what all the coaches say, too? How hard it is to beat a team 3 times in the same season. And as Tennessee's going to go up against Kentucky, Kentucky's beat Tennessee both times in the regular season.
It's definitely going to be an interesting matchup. I was afraid that Tennessee was going to lose some momentum heading into the NCAA tournament off of the heartbreaking defeat that they took in the SEC finals. But they've actually proven me wrong, and they're building a lot of momentum heading into this game against Kentucky. So it'll definitely be one to watch, and hopefully the Vols will be able to pull away with a win. Moving on to the NFL, free agency. I'm curious to know who your guys' favorite teams are and how you feel about the signings they've made so far. Aaron?
See, I'm a Miami Dolphins fan. Mainly what we need is offensive line. We made some pretty good signings. We just signed, what's his name? Drew Lock. No, not Drew Lock. I think we just signed Drew Lock. Man, I don't know. We signed some quarterback from the Broncos, and I think it's a solid backup for when Tua goes out again this season, because we know for sure that's going to happen. But, I mean, I don't know. I think we've had a great offseason so far. We've been adding some defense. I just really think we need to start looking on the offensive side for the line. And I really do think going to the draft for that is a great option for us. And I don't know. I feel like the Dolphins probably going to have another off year, but I think we're going to be a little bit better from last year, hopefully.
Luke, your team and how you feel about their signing.
Well, I'm a Titans fan, and here's the thing. Since 2002, since the NFL merger, the Titans are the most injured team in pro football. Not only pro football, but pro sports. So the Titans this year have finally started signing not just star players, but depth. So we got some good offensive line depth. Now we have some good receiver depth. But really where the Titans are going to make their money is in the NFL draft, where they hold the number 1 pick. And really, usually whenever it's the NFL draft, you always usually know who the first overall pick is going to be for which team. But that's not the case for the Titans. The Titans can do anything. There's 4 or 5 different players that they can draft with the number 1 overall pick that you would say makes sense. And also the idea of trading back, potentially the 3rd pick with the New York Giants, see what they can get from that, and they still would have their option to most likely pick who they want. So if it were me and I was a general manager, here's what I would try and do. I would try and trade back with the Giants. If I can get an offer that I like, I would do that, and I would try and take Travis Hunter if he's there at 3. If he's not there at 3, then I'll settle for Abdul Carter, right? But if the Giants aren't willing to budge and they don't want to trade, then I think we cannot pass up on Cam Ward. In that situation, I think we've got to take Cam Ward. I think he's the best quarterback in this draft, and I think he has already proved that he is better than Will Levis. But I really want to trade back and get Travis Hunter just because I think he's that generational talent in this draft that you cannot pass up on.
So ideally, if you guys do take Cam Ward, what do you do with Will Levis?
I don't think there's a strong trading market for him. They've already floated his name out per sources, and that didn't go too well. So he's an okay backup in the league, but when you want a backup quarterback, you want someone that can come in the game and can really control the game at a pace level like a Mason Rudolph, who's not, he's not going to throw an interception. He's not going to win the game, but 100% he's not going to lose you the game. And when I think of Tennessee Titans' losses last year, I think of Will Levis. His just horrible decision-making and just turning over the ball. So I really don't think he's a great backup option either.
What do you think? What are your thoughts on that, Aaron?
They don't need to take a quarterback in the draft. 100%. There's no good quarterbacks for the Titans, and I just feel like they need to shop it. I do agree maybe trading back that pick. If they could trade back that pick and also shop a quarterback, I feel like that could be a great option. Like you got Aaron Rodgers on the market, Kirk Cousins. I feel like you have a lot of great options. Shop Will Levis as well. Just see what you can get out of him. Again, like as he said, there's been rumors of him going around. There's not too much of a good trade market for him. But I feel like if the Titans pick Cam Ward, it's truly the worst decision they can make as an organization. I think they'd just be better off going Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter. Pair him up with Jeffrey Simmons. Man, even Travis Hunter, put him on defense or play him as wide receiver. Do we even know what position he said he's going to play?
I believe he entered either the combine or the pro day as a corner.
Okay.
I believe is what
And I
he
like
listed
that. I
himself
like that
as.
better than a wide receiver for him. I feel like he's crazy.
I still think he is adamant, though. I saw an interview last week. He's still adamant on wanting to play both positions his first season.
Do you guys think that that's viable for him, taking on the snap count that he did at Colorado and trying to translate that to the NFL?
Is that even allowed in the NFL?
I believe so. I believe there's been a couple players to do it. The first person that comes to mind that's played multiple positions, I think there was one recently. He's on the Patriots. I think it's Marcus Jones.
Yep.
He's listed as corner, but took some snaps at wide receiver. And I think that Cordero Patterson has done the same in the past.
Yep.
I'm just not sure with what team. So I do think it's allowed, but I don't know how viable it is. What do you think?
So I want to say that it's 80 is the number that the NFLPA, which is the NFL's union, set. I'm not for sure on that, so don't quote me on that. But that's the number they set on snap counts for most players. But a player can waive their rights to that right there if they so choose. So if a player wants to be in the NFLPA and be in that union and stuff, they can guarantee them that they do not have to play this many snaps. But if Travis Hunter wants to play that many more, it's up to him and his coaches and the organization as a whole if he could. So there's no rule that necessarily bans it.
I didn't know that. I actually didn't know that. I think it's absolutely viable. I think he can do it. He's a freak athlete. Going under the Sanders offense and defense at Colorado, I feel like he can strive, especially through the Titans. If he goes through the Titans, pretty bad franchise. So I feel like he can make it happen.
I think he can do it, but if you also look at Travis Hunter's mold, he's really small, he's really skinny, and I don't know if he can take just the physicality of the NFL offense and defense. That's the only thing I'm worried about is if he might get injured.
I think that's my thing too, is that I think it'd be nice to see Travis Hunter bulk up a little bit this offseason because, I mean, both sides of the ball are very physical, but I would say that trying to take the hits out on wide receiver, but also turn around and go deliver the hits at cornerback is definitely a challenge. And you hear players all the time talking about how fast the NFL moves. And so I'll be curious to see if he could do it. It would be awesome to see him do it. I just don't know if it's something that, if he wants to play for a long time, if it's something that he would be able to do consistently. Yeah. I'm not sure. I'll be curious to see how that goes. Moving on to the NBA, Steph Curry recently passed the mark for 4,000 3-points made over his entire career, as well as recently LeBron James hit 50,000 career points. I'm curious to know, I got 2 questions for you guys. Where would you rank LeBron in the GOAT debate, and where would you rank Steph Curry as far as point guards of all time goes? I'm going to start with Aaron.
I'll start with Steph Curry. He's the greatest point guard to ever play in the NBA or step on a basketball court. I mean, it's just, there's nothing close to him. Like, even without Klay Thompson, he's just an amazing shooter. I feel like losing the Splash Brothers type of like duo they had honestly made him better. I feel like because I feel like it put more confidence in him. It's more ran onto him as it still was when Klay Thompson was on the team, but I feel like he kind of had like a scapegoat to go towards, like say if Steph played bad. But I don't know. I feel like Steph Curry is the greatest point guard to ever play the game. I mean, I say my top 3 for the point guard position. I say Steph Curry, Magic Johnson, and then Russell Westbrook. I mean, I don't know. I just don't think it's close within the 1 and 2 position. I feel like Steph Curry has just always been like the star player who they look like, who the Warriors like kind of build around since he got there, really. And man, he's taken that team everywhere. Like he's won them so many finals. I'm pretty sure the Warriors didn't have any NBA finals before Steph Curry came into there. So he's turned that whole franchise around. He's made them an absolutely incredible franchise. Going on to LeBron, again, I think LeBron's the greatest player to ever play basketball, and I'll die on that hill. I mean, like literally, if you look at all of the teams he's played for, that's a different career for each team. Like he brought the Cavaliers out of poverty. He played great with Miami, other than the Mavericks finals. It was pretty bad. And even the Lakers, like if you split all 3 of those like times he was with this team, you can literally say those are each a different career, and that could just be something used for the GOAT debate. And just I don't know, his longevity. He's so old, but he plays like he's 20. You know, I just think he's truly the greatest player to ever play.
Do you have any thoughts on both of those?
So I completely agree with Aaron. Steph Curry is the greatest point guard of all time. I think he's been the greatest point guard of all time for quite a while now. I think there's a case that you could say he's probably top 10 greatest of all time, but just the greatest player, like skill-wise. I think Steph Curry's got a case to be that as well. I think Magic Johnson was good. I mean, he's the greatest facilitator to ever play basketball. But Stephen Curry, just the offense that he generates for his team, you just look at this Warriors, the last hot streak they were on. When Steph Curry's on the court, the Warriors are a completely different team than when he's off. That team revolves around him more than any team I've ever seen in professional sports. And whenever it comes to the GOAT debate, LeBron James is a top 10 player in every decade. If you just cut out his career from 2000 to 2010, he's one of the top 10 all-time players. From 2010 to 2020, he's one of the top 10 all players. And I think from 2020 to 2025, he's on pace to be a top 10 all-time player. In those 3 decades, I tell my friends all the time back at home, if you think Michael Jordan is the GOAT, there is something intellectually wrong with you. LeBron James is the greatest player to ever play basketball, and I really don't think it's debatable.
How about you?
You know, for me, it's tough. I don't really get to watch the NBA as much as I get to watch the NFL. just because the NFL happens, or not the NFL, but the NBA happens so often, and there's a lot of games. It's a lot to keep up with. But I would have to agree. I would say LeBron is the GOAT. I'm not as passionate about it as Luke is, but I would have to agree. I think that once LeBron broke the scoring record, that it became a lot harder to argue that Jordan was the GOAT. And I think that the debate of, Jordan being 6-0 in the finals is kind of dumb to me, because it's not like he went to the playoffs 6 times, went to the final 6 times, and won all 6 times. I'm not sure how many times he went to the playoffs, but I know that, if I'm not mistaken, every time he didn't go to the finals, they were first-round exits. So LeBron has just been dominant throughout his entire era of basketball. And it's a dominance unlike any other dominance you've seen in any other type of sports, unless maybe Tom Brady. But I would have to agree. I'd say LeBron is the GOAT, and it's definitely hard to argue otherwise.
Yeah, there's just no inconsistency.
All right, I like how you brought up the finals. Here's a question. All right, so Michael Jordan had Scottie Pippen. He had Dennis Rodman. Michael Jordan was part of the team that he won those finals on. LeBron James was the team when he won the finals. Name me someone that played for the Cavs pre-2018 with Kyrie.
Yeah.
I can't.
No.
Was Kevin Love not? Mm-hmm. No, that was Miami, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So you literally cannot do it. LeBron James was that team that won his championships. And, yeah, he had some greater players as time went on in his career. He had D-Wade and stuff like that. He had Anthony Davis whenever he won a chip. But LeBron James, those first years on the Cavs, his first stint with the Cavaliers, he was it, and he was still winning finals.
Yep.
He was all.
And there's just no inconsistency within LeBron. Like, literally from his rookie year to now, the numbers still are all similar. Like, he always performs for the LeBron James name. I'm completely with you. Like, I'll die on the hill. He's the greatest player to ever play. So.
Well, you guys heard it here. LeBron is the definitive GOAT. That's going to wrap up this Pioneer Roundtable. I'm Jake.
This is Luke.
And Aaron.
And we'll see you next time.